In my last video in the field, I visited the San Francisco Botanical Garden, and you may remember that I only brought my 24-70 lens with me, and when I ran into some birds at the pond, I wasn't really able to get close enough to get a good picture of them, and that was really frustrating. And if you watch the Second Look episode where I analyzed those pictures in detail, I talked more about that and how that was a really big motivator for me to upgrade to a newer lens. And I since have, so here I am using the 60 Mark II and the Canon 70-200 f4 II ISM USM. And I've returned to Golden Gate Park, where I'm going to try and get a few pictures of birds to try to make up for what I missed out on last time. Right now I'm at Spreckels Lake, which is kind of on the north side of the middle of the park, and there's a lot of birds out in the water, and I'll see if I can get some good enough pictures with 200mm zoom. I am quickly learning that even 200mm is really not enough to get close to a fairly small bird. Even just a few feet away, trying to zoom in all the way, the ducks are still a pretty small part of the frame, so I can really see now from firsthand experience why wildlife photographers need really telephoto lenses, something maybe 400 all the way up to 600 or 800, because I can imagine trying to get close enough to an animal that it wasn't safe to be near. You'd really need some reach to be able to get decent zoom on an animal like that. I'm also realizing that it's pretty difficult to photograph moving things. Since I've been doing mostly landscapes, I forget how much more difficult it is to photograph something that's moving and get a really good composition. It seems like at this stage of my skill, it's really more about luck to get something like that. So I'm still finding myself gravitating towards more still moving subjects. And one good example of that is right here, where I found these turtles on a rock who have just decided to pose here for me, and I found that to be much easier to do than the ducks and the birds. Well, here's a target-rich environment. We've got lots of pigeons and seagulls and some herons all clumped together here, and they're letting me come up pretty close to them, so I can get probably some decent shots of these guys. I walked around to the other side of the lake and I found another group of birds that are much more active than the ones that I was just at. Some ducks here and some geese even, and they're all bathing together and walking around and squawking. There's a man over there on the bench who's feeding them, and I think that's getting them a little more excited and active.